Now, time to talk politics, and of course, we'll be looking at the challenge currently bedeviling the African Democratic Congress following INEC's decision to discontinue recognition of the David Mark-led group and, of course, the nephew Bala Gombe group of the party following the Court of Appeal decision. We saw the press briefing addressed yesterday by the national chairman of the Mark Group, Senator David Mark, and some of the resolutions that have come through is a call for the resignation of the INEC chairman. Of course, INEC has reacted to that, and amongst other things, that the party will continue its congresses. So joining us now is Mr. Tanko Yunus. He's the national coordinator, the Obedient Movement. He's right there in our Abuja studio. Mr. Tanko, good morning and welcome to the Morning Brief.
Good morning. Happy Easter to everyone. And
a happy Easter to you too. Now, time is of the essence, apparently, against the backdrop of the new Electoral Act. The decision expressed by the David Mark-led group to go ahead with party activities regardless does not particularly, give a clear direction about whether or not the ADC would be on the ballot come 2027. So what more realistic options will the ADC be exploring besides pursuing this at the court to ensure that a decision is turned in its favor before the electoral timeline?
Thank you very much for the question. I think the whole thing still stopped on INEC's table. Whether INEC has been been manipulated through the back door using a string to control their intention, should quickly retract that particular step as quickly as possible. And I say this as a patriotic citizen. We have an election coming up very soon in 2027. These processes of the elections have a kind of a timeline, and the timeline has already been established, except, of course, for those who do not want us to have an election. And if you do not want us to have an election, what you are already channeling is a chaotic situation for Nigeria. And I can tell you that Nigerians will not accept it. I'm not talking about the ADC now in particular. I'm talking about Nigerians in general, because it is already clear that even if you go to the court, it is already been pre-arranged. You go to the court and they justify the reason why the ADC will not run or put people to run for election. And that is done already against already the PDP and other political. The Labour Party is a victim already, been choreographed in such a way. So going to court is not the solution. It's going back to INEC. It's not too late for INEC to retract its step as quickly as possible for the interest of the country and the people that it's already been stigmatized and been choreographed, been denied, been insulted, been intimidated. And if the people are intimidated and then they are being forced to turn back, the government itself may not be comfortable in sitting on that particular seat. I'm not making a threat, I'm just giving you a fact of reality. So it is better for INEC within the next 24 hours, even earlier than that, for them to quickly retract the step. That is the only way so that we can have an election. At the end of it, a credible election will bring in credible leaders and credible governance. That is the best way. And I'm using this opportunity to call on the security operatives to really quickly get into this matter. Their duties is to take care of the citizens, protect the country, and protect the sovereignty of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They should please, as quickly as possible, tell those who are behind this particular heinous crime against the people to quickly retract the step, because the whole problem will be on them. Because at the moment now, you can see we have already a big tank, a war tank already being stationed in front of INEC to protect what? Our own product? INEC is ours. We are the one. It is the taxpayers' money that put INEC there. So they are supposed to take care of the interests of the Nigerian people. There's no need to put up a war drum, beating of the drums for war, when the war is already outside. How I wish those particular tanks would have been put in everywhere where killings are taking place in Jos Plateau, killings are taking place in Maiduguri, killings are taking place in Zamfara, and God knows what next. Those are where you need those tanks, not in INEC office where we need to put and protect the interests of the people. The interest of the people is supposed to be number one.
Mr. Yunus,
therefore, it's not the practical solution to this is a quick retraction by INEC as quickly as possible to stabilize this country, because already a lot of problem is going on. We can't take this anymore as a country. Please, INEC, do the needful. If you can't, just leave the seat and let somebody else take over the position.
Mr. Yunus, you say that the ADC, that the solution is not to go to court. Are those your personal views?
No.
Or will the ADC be exploring an appeal at the Supreme Court level?
Let me explain why I said so. Example has already been shown in different ways. Going back to court will already legitimize illegitimacy, with all due respect to our court. And we don't have the time. The situation is that they will keep on dragging you till the end of the election, and they'll tell you that is the process of the process of democracy. At this point, this is not process of democracy. It is criminal action against the Nigerian people. So we are appealing for the soul of the people that we do not want them to be lost in this process, that we do not want to go to court. Please, let us do the needful as quickly as possible. The way they use the night to make those pronouncements, they can use the morning to change the lives of the Nigerian people and say, yes, we made a mistake and we are correcting it. It doesn't take them anything.
So this is where we're at right now, and we must reiterate that democracy needs a vibrant, viable opposition, because that's how it's designed to work. So there's a party in power, there's a party in opposition that puts the party in power's feet to the fire, that is able to also represent the people's yearnings and say, well, you're doing it this way, but we could do it better this way, provide alternative policies. So I think that that is a foundation upon which this conversation is happening, the need for a viable opposition. But in recent times, we've had different commentaries about the way the ADC, or at least the coalition, came together, the kinds of conversations they had, how they didn't go the route of the APC by building something from the scratch. I mean, you were at the forefront of the NCP, the National Conscience Party, at some point, but was deregistered because INEC looked and said, well, these parties are not really doing much. They're not winning elections. They're not meeting the criteria for a party. So why do we need to have 91? And at that time, they cut it to, I think, 16. Now we have 20 plus political parties registered. So I want you to speak to that issue. The fact that a lot of people have said, the ADC took the easy route. You didn't build from the scratch, which is why you found yourself where you are today. So why didn't you take that route of building something from the scratch? Why did the coalition just look for an SPV, as they've described it, to prosecute this election? Look,
I was very happy with the statement that was read by the chairman of the ADC yesterday. It took his time to quickly analyze every processes that they took, and each of the processes that they took to ensure that there was no booby trap was backed by evidence. And all those evidences indicated that the person in question, Madam Nafiu, actually resigned from the party, and the INEC was fully informed of it. Let me tell you, this particular issue was already known to the party long even before the coalition was, because I'm sure they tried to do due diligence at the time and asked that every details of the party, if they have issues on ground, if they have court cases, they want to make sure that all of them were cleared. And it was well established as of yesterday that yes, every detail that needs to be done with the party was done to ensure there's no booby trap. But of course, those who want to steal your property will sit back and create an easy way to do that. So this, what happened day before yesterday, was very, very clear. And the rumors behind it is that they have been twisted to a point of resignation. Well, that is allegation. But the fact remains that they came out and made those statements, and as against the interests of the Nigerian people. And when you talk about the system is skewed in such a way that it did not even allow the normal Nigerian person to run for election or even win election. That's where we are. All of the political parties that you said did not win election, like the NCP and all, NCP won election. But what you need to look at is that what was the preparatory ground for you to win election or to have a clean and free, fair election? It is not there. Is it the processes that have been established by INEC itself? Is it the checkmating or the funding that is needed for you to have, or for the candidate who may not have the money to bribe and, you know, pay for votes to win election? All of these processes were made in such a way that it's difficult for a normal political party to win election. And in this situation, even those who are trying to go beyond that are being strangulated. Just the case in the ADC. Everything was done to ensure that the processes were seamlessly free. But then the idea is to have a one-party state and deny candidates for running election. As far as I'm concerned, a lot of people who have seen what has transpired within a short period of time, the movement, the political party, how Peter Obi came into the party and mobilized mass people into the party, Alhaji Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso mobilizing, more people are coming. That, of course, scared the government in power. But I find it difficult to understand. A government who has already been able to get 31 or 32 state governors behind it, why should you be afraid of running for a free and fair election? They should have used their mind and whatever it is that they have to test their strength with the people. To test their strength with the people.
All right.
Democracy is about the people. And the people are saying, this is the way we want to go. You can't deny us. And they are more in population. The more you try to hold them down, the more they get angry. I don't know whether the strategic department of the government knows this.
Right.
The more you get the people angry, the more you lose them.
Well, INEC has released a statement in the aftermath of your World Press Conference, and I'm sure you've seen it, where the commission said we're independent. You calling for the resignation of a chairman, is a far cry from what independence should be. There's a constitutional process to that. So are you saying that if the INEC chairman does not resign, that you don't trust this process? Bear in mind that a prominent member of the ADC was on our show yesterday, and we asked him pointedly if he thinks that the INEC chairman had been compromised. And he said, well, no, he doesn't think that, because the INEC chairman, that's Professor Josh Amopiton, is not INEC, that INEC is an institution. So it's curious to then hear the ADC in general say, no, we now want that man to resign. So you want him to resign. If he doesn't resign, what is the ADC going to do, Mr. Tanko? Honor, integrity, and ethics of your duty remain lies with you. No constitution in the country, when you know that your life or your dignity is being threatened, that you cannot resign from any position. Even as a president, you can resign. If you know that what you are being pushed to do is against the interests of your own personal self, and it impinge on your integrity and the people that you are being given the opportunity to serve, you can resign, so that you can save yourself from future name calling and whatever that may befall you in the future. So in that regard, if the INEC chairman feels that his integrity is being impugned upon, and he knows that they are pushing him to do something that is against his own personal principle, he can't resign. And then we will know that whether there is no conspiracy against the people using him as a tool. Now, in the instance of constitutionality, as regard to whether the INEC chairman or what he's supposed to do is in the right way. Look, the Constitution does not hold you down. It gives you an opportunity. And we, from the beginning, we knew, and we've been championing it, we were hoping that we'll have credible people. We still believe that there are good people in Nigeria. We still believe so. And who can be able to do the right thing. So, at this point in time, we want the Nigerian Constitution to replicate what it's been established. And that, of course, means protecting the interests of the Nigerian people. That must be done. Anything short of that, the Nigerian people will not accept it. All right.
Let's talk about the options open to you know, the political bigwigs in the ADC now, we could project about what the other bigwigs could do, but at least we'll have you here as the coordinator of the Obedient Movement. And so you could speak to Mr. Peter Obi's next line of action in the light of the circumstances. So what would that be, particularly if this case drags beyond the electoral timeline required for all the cases to have been sorted out, such that a candidate would have been presented? So if this exceeds beyond that time, what would be the option of your principal?
My principal is a team player. He believes in the will of the people. He will go with where the people want him to be. And that is his strength. The people will help him in deciding where his action will be, especially the Nigerian youth. They are the ones who are championing his cause. So at the time in which he needs them to make a decision, he will revert to them and they will help him in making decisions. And I want to say again, as a team player, he will go along with his team and they will discuss extensively and take a decision that will be in the interest of the Nigerian people. That will be their target.
Okay, so let's walk through this, because as I said, we spoke with Senator Dino Melaye yesterday to walk through some of the basic facts of this case, because at the heart of it really is the facts. INEC's decision, what was it based on? Your own response, what is it based on? And moving on, so people understand what is really at play here. And I know that you are, conversant with the correspondences of your party with INEC. So let me ask you again, because I asked Senator Dino Melaye yesterday. So you had the official takeover in that sense in July. That's of the coalition taking over the ADC leadership, Senator David Mark and Mr. Ralph Aregbesola, late July. Am I correct, Mr. Yunus Tanko?
Yeah.
Good. So INEC's statement, if you check page 4 of INEC's statement, it says that it received that your letter requesting for the submission or the upload of the names of the new principals of the ADC on September the 4th, 2025. Can you confirm that?
Go ahead, please. I'm listening to you.
All right. So INEC says that it received it on September the 4th, 2025, and it was approved for upload on September the 9th of the same year. That's exactly 5 days after. Now, Mr. Nafiu Balagombe instituted his case in court on September the 2nd. So for INEC, it says that status quo antebellum, which is the status before the hostilities began, before whatever court cases began, was when the names were not uploaded yet, which is prior to September the 2nd, because the names were uploaded on September the 9th. So, Mr. Tanko, INEC has explained with its own facts. Do you have facts to counter this?
Like I said earlier on, I hope you are listening. The national chairman of the ADC, because I'm not speaking for the ADC, the national chairman of the ADC choreographed detail, and I wish you can get a copy of that statement. Probably if you don't have, I'll make it available to you. It clearly stipulates every action and the timing in which they took to ensure that every details were taken care of. But here it is. The idea of playing with time and date and all is another ploy in order to deceive the people. The action of INEC ought to have taken place long even before. We are speaking here in April. What took place day before yesterday on the 1st, is an April Fool. I repeat, April Fool, because the day in which those things ought to have been taken care of by INEC, they should have taken a swift action long before now. Why did they wait up to today or yesterday? Why? Those are the questions you want to put to INEC.
Well,
when the momentum of the ADC is gathering momentum and they are seeing that people are trooping into the political party, people feel threatened. But that's not supposed to be their problem. They're supposed to be guiding and protecting to ensure that opposition gets its lifeline.
Well,
for the interest of the political party.
Yeah, Mr. Tanko, so you referred to that press conference. So if you look at it very well, and I'm sure you were there, you listened, even the statement
Yes.
agreed with the fact that on September the 9th, 2025, INEC uploaded the names of the relevant NWC members of the party based on NEC resolution. So that statement aligns, and I imagine you have seen that statement, you were even there. It aligns with what INEC said.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not contradicting. I'm only telling you that there's no need for you to play with dates and
No, I'm not playing
timing
with dates, Mr.
when
Tanko.
the actual fact
I am
is there.
stating the facts.
INEC did not take its decision.
So the status quo before
INEC did not
September
take
the
its decision.
2nd is what
INEC
I'm
did not take its own decision
Pardon me,
at
Mr.
the time
Tanko.
when due.
So we can have this productively. So my question is about the status
Yes,
quo.
go ahead.
You agree that the names were uploaded September the 9th. So INEC is saying status quo antebellum is prior to the names being uploaded September the 2nd, when the case was instituted. So do you have issues with that interpretation of INEC, which you and your party corroborate, is what I'm asking?
What I'm saying is that this question you are asking has to refer out to the lawyers who can establish this particular fact, because they did a due diligence in explaining their own position. They have performed their duty and make sure that they follow the due process. INEC, when they recognized and uploaded the names of the leadership of the party, based on the provisions of making sure that they witnessed that particular handing over and then taking over from the party, it was done seamlessly. There was no issue. So when you make reference to the statement, it clearly stipulates that the party had done what is rightfully expected of it to do. Then why come up with all of these things when the party has already getting momentum? The idea is that they are only trying to reduce the momentum of the party based on internal or choreographed situation from those who are trying to truncate democracy.
Well, Mr. Tanko would like, would wait for INEC to respond to some of your posers, and hopefully that it does. But I'd like to believe, or I believe that you are a Democrat yourself, and beyond this conversation being about the need for a viable democracy and the worries around the current challenge bedeviling the ADC, is also upholding the tenets of democracy itself. And a key member of the ADC who had challenged the David Mark's leadership last year is Mr. Ralph Nwosu, who has spoken to this current challenge. And he says that the African Democratic Congress chairman at the time sold the ADC to men who had destroyed their own parties and were seeking for another party with which to prosecute their grudge match against President Tinubu and the APC. Besides that, there were concerns around the manner of takeover of the ADC by the David Mark-led group, that there was no NEC meeting, there were no congresses held, and in fact, some of the rules of the party at the time were to the effect that if one candidate resigned, that the next should come from that part of the country where the person who resigned came from. And Mr. Nwosu is from the southeast. Mr. Senator David Mark is from the north. So is this self-inflicted?
No, let me explain. Party matters are internal matters, and it's already been established by the Supreme Court of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And in that case, the party itself will have to explain the processes and for their understanding within the internal mechanism of the party. And I'm sure my good friend Chief Ralph Nwosu and his team, Mani and the former National Secretary, are capable of knowing how to deal with their internal matters. The constitution of the party is there, and of course they can deal with issues within the party. So I'm sure, very sure, that Ralph Nwosu and his team do everything that they can to ensure that they put the right peg in the right hole. And if you call them over, which is the leadership of the party, they will give you a detailed explanation. And certain things
you're saying the same thing
can be done with a lot of understanding. Like, I am not in the executive of the party, so certain action that may be taken by the party may be within the party itself. So I believe these questions will be better handled by the leadership of the party.
Well, you're saying the same thing the distinguished senator said yesterday about a party's internal affairs being self-regulated. But I just quoted some portions of the party's constitution at the time, which should have guided the takeover bid, but which were not adhered to. So if in the process of a party being self-regulated, does it mean that it should shun its own rules and regulations? Then where is internal democracy?
Nobody will agree to shut the constitution of a party. Remember, the constitution of the party derives its strength from the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And so they are very, very careful as regard to what the litigation might end up being. But then there are issues of understanding and moral suasion on a situation that can be taken care of by the political party internally. Of course, that I'm not privy to. And that is why I will refer you back to the political party to ensure that they cannot give you the details of how they're going about solving their internal matters, but they did in solving it in a way to ensure that the party gets a lifeline, what it's already getting at the moment now.
All right, so Mr. Tanko, final question in 30 seconds. Senator Shehu made a joke online saying that, well, he likes Mr. Peter Obi. He said Peter, though, that he left his slippers in his bucket and all of that in the Labour Party, implying that Mr. Peter Obi is planning to go back to the Labour Party. Is that going to happen?
I am not aware of that. What I just told you is that Mr. Peter Obi is a team player.
So it's a done deal.
Where the people go.
It's a done deal. He doesn't plan to go back to the Labour Party to contest.
Peter Obi goes with the people. Anywhere the people tell him to go, you can be sure you'll find Mr. Peter Obi there.
Even if it's Labour Party. Even if it's Labour Party, right?
Thank you.
So if the people say you should go to the Labour Party, he goes there.
Come again?
If the people say go to the Labour Party, he will go there.
I said Peter Obi is a masses person. He can be only where the people want him to be.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Tanko. It was just a yes or no question. But
all right. So it was just a simple question that you could have responded to. But hey, we must anchor at this point, and thank you very much. Mr. Tanko Yunus is the National Coordinator of the Obedient Movement. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you very much, and a new Nigeria is possible.